Amongst Arsenal's finest managers are the likes of Herbert Chapman, George Graham and Arsene Wenger. And another of these great managers is Bertie Mee. Mee managed Arsenal over a period of 10 years, from 1966 to 1976. In his time at Highbury, he would become one of the Gunners' most successful ever managers, and also oversaw one of the greatest seasons in the club's history. This is the story of Bertie Mee, the man behind Arsenal's first double. Bertie Mee was born on Christmas Day 1918 in Bolwell, Nottinghamshire. In a brief playing career, he had spells at both Mansfield Town and Derby County before his career was cut short due to injury. He would spend 6 years at the Royal Army Medical Corps working as a physiotherapist. In 1960, he would join Arsenal as a physio. 6 years later, Arsenal manager Billy Wright was sacked, and in a surprising move, Mee was appointed to the position of Arsenal manager. Aware himself of the move being out of left field, Mee asked for a get-out clause to return to his role as a physio after 12 months if it didn't work out. He would appoint Dave Sexton and Don Howe to his coaching staff to help gain some tactical expertise. The Gunners had not won a major honour since 1953 and were keen to change that. Mee slowly underwent transforming the fortunes of his side, building the squad around a number of youth graduates such as Ray Kennedy, Pat Rice, Charlie George and John Radford. In his first season in charge, Mee took Arsenal to a promising 7th place finish in the league. The next season, Arsenal finished 9th and reached the League Cup final. Arsenal would face Don Revie's Leeds United at Wembley. Unfortunately, an early Terry Cooper goal put Leeds in front, and afterwards, the Yorkshire side put on a defensive masterclass, holding out the Gunners and winning the cup. It was disappointing for Arsenal, but a trip to Wembley would still fill the club with hope, and there was faith that Mee could take them over the line in the future. The next campaign, Arsenal's league position improved greatly as they finished in 4th place and were at Wembley again for the League Cup final. Arsenal were against 3rd Division side Swindon Town and were heavily expected to go one better and take the trophy home this time. But an outbreak of flu in the Arsenal camp and a pitch decimated by rain would significantly hinder Arsenal's game plan, and all of a sudden an upset seemed possible. And that is exactly what happened. Swindon stunned the footballing world by winning the game 3-1 after extra time, to leave Arsenal empty-handed once again. It was extremely frustrating for Bertie Mee. A golden opportunity to get his hands on some silverware had passed him by, and Arsenal's drought dragged on. They were desperate to end the curse the next campaign. Domestically, however, Arsenal were poor the next season. They finished 12th in the league and exited both the FA Cup and League Cup in the 3rd round. However, there was hope for Arsenal on the European stage. Arsenal had qualified for the Intercities Fairs Cup, the predecessor of the UEFA Cup, by finishing 4th the previous season. Their run began with a 3-1 aggregate win over Northern Irish side Glentoran, before they would face Sporting Lisbon in the 2nd round. The first leg in Lisbon finished 0-0, but 2 goals from George Graham and 1 from John Radford in the second leg saw the Gunners through. A 1-0 aggregate win over French side Rouen saw Arsenal into the quarter-finals, where they were against Romanian outfit Dynamo Baku. Goals from Radford and Jonathan Samuels saw Arsenal leave Romania with a 2-goal advantage. At Highbury, 2 goals from Charlie George, 1 from George Graham, 2 from John Radford and 2 from John Samuels put Arsenal into the semi-finals. But in the semis, Arsenal were up against Rinus Michels' Ajax, who had the likes of Johan Cruyff and Ruud Krol in their side. Many expected the Dutch side to reach the final. But amazingly, at Highbury, Arsenal came out comfortable victors. 2 goals from Charlie George and 1 from Samuels put Arsenal in pole position to reach the final. In the return leg in Amsterdam, Ajax won 1-0, which was not enough to stop the Gunners. Arsenal were heading to their first ever European final, and Bertie Mee had a chance to be 3rd time lucky in his quest to claim some silverware. Arsenal would face Anderlecht in the final. They travelled to Belgium for the first leg, but soon their dreams appeared to be dashed. Anderlecht raced into a 3-goal lead, and it seemed as though Arsenal would come up short again. But 8 minutes from time, Ray Kennedy netted to give Arsenal hope. The game finished 3-1. Arsenal had been beaten, but they still had a home leg to play. The second leg was played in front of over 50,000 people at Highbury, a crowd desperate to see the Gunners lift their first piece of silverware for 17 years. In the 25th minute, Edward Kelly had the ball on the edge of the box. He fired it towards goal and it nestled in the top corner. Arsenal were in front, and all of a sudden, the momentum was with the Gunners. Bob Wilson was able to prevent the Belgians from equalising in the Arsenal goal, and at half-time, it remained 1-0. A long period in the second half passed by without a goal. Arsenal only needed one to take the lead on away goals. In the 75th minute, Bob McNabb had the ball on the left-hand side. He swung it into the box, where John Radford was waiting. Radford headed it beyond the keeper and into the net, as Highbury exploded. Arsenal were now on course to finally end their trophy drought. Only a minute later, Charlie George had the ball on the left-hand side. He switched the ball to John Samuels. Samuels beat his on-rushing marker before bursting into the box with the ball. He blasted a shot at goal and it flew into the corner. Arsenal were now ahead 4-3 on aggregate and were on the verge of glory. And soon after, it was full time. Arsenal had won their first European honour and ended their lengthy trophy drought. Bertie Mee, a man who 10 years before had joined the club as physio, was now the man who had revolutionised the club's fortunes. It was an incredible moment for the Gunners, but it was only Bertie Mee's warm-up act. Arsenal started next season's league campaign well, with their first home game finishing with a 4-0 thrashing of Manchester United. They fought valiantly throughout the league season and were clear challengers for the title. They would remain unbeaten at Highbury throughout the league campaign, and on the final day, the league title was within their reach. Their rivals for the title, Leeds, had already finished their league campaign and were 1 point clear of Arsenal. The Gunners only needed a 0-0 draw for their last game to win their first league title since 1953, and their fortune was written in the stars, as their final game would be against Tottenham at White Hart Lane. Around 52,000 fans entered the stadium, with another 50,000 estimated to be locked outside. A tight encounter left Arsenal fans biting their nails. Neither side could find a goal, and Arsenal just needed to hold on. In the 88th minute, a cross was swung into the box, and there to meet it was Ray Kennedy. His header looped into the net as the Reds contingent in White Hart Lane went delirious. Arsenal had won the league title at the home of their fiercest rivals. It was the perfect poetic ending to their league title drought, but there was also a chance afterwards for even more silverware. Arsenal had reached the FA Cup final, where they would face Bill Shankly's Liverpool. Arsenal emerged in yellow on a hot day at Wembley, keen to complete the double for the first time in their history. The game finished goalless, and so extra time was needed. But disaster soon struck in the extra period when Steve Highway scored to give Liverpool the lead. But just after 100 minutes, George Graham levelled the scores for Arsenal, and 10 minutes later, an iconic goal from Charlie George put the Gunners in front. Soon afterwards, full time went, and Arsenal had won the double. After 17 years without a trophy, Bertie Mee had masterminded the Gunners to 3 trophies in 2 seasons. It was an incredible achievement, but it would soon prove to be the peak of Bertie Mee's career. Don Howe left Arsenal's coaching staff to manage West Brom soon after, and Mee was soon left, missing a great deal of his tactical acumen. Arsenal finished 5th the next season, and would lose the FA Cup final to Leeds. Arsenal would lose out on the league again the next campaign, and lost in the semi-final of the FA Cup to 2nd Division Sunderland. Arsenal would not win any more silverware over the next 2 years, and some of the players who had helped win the double, such as Ray Kennedy, Charlie George and Frank McLintock, were moved on. Arsenal's fortunes continued to decline, and in 1976, after Arsenal finished 17th in the table, Mee resigned from his position as manager. After leaving Arsenal, Mee spent time at Watford as part of Graham Taylor's coaching staff, later becoming a director at the club before retiring from the game for good in 1991. Bertie Mee died on the 22nd of October 2001 at the age of 82. Whilst Bertie Mee may not have won as many honours as Arsenal manager as the likes of George Graham and Arsene Wenger, he is still a vital part of the club's history. Despite being a wildcard choice for the job, he transitioned from physio to manager brilliantly, bringing through young players and ending a huge drought for the club. The memories of the 71 double are still held fondly by the Gunners faithful to this day. There is no statue of Mee at the Emirates, which is a tremendous shame, because had he not turned the fortunes of Arsenal around, then a lot of the glory that the Gunners have experienced since may never have happened.